morning, good morning, good morning. It is 5:30 on a Saturday morning. It's a lovely Saturday morning. We're starting the recording now. I'm going to spritz the paints real quick so they'll be nice and juicy and moist when it comes time to paint. Set those out of the way, let them soak. Today we're going to draw a sketch of this little miniature John Smith here. It is from the, I guess it's from the Frontier set from Safari. There's a lot of stories around John Smith, kind of like Paul Bunyan. There's no real hard evidence to back it up, but there's lots of stories. John Smith told most of them, but he told them differently every time he told them. He was published multiple times of his own stories. And like I said, they weren't always the same stories. We don't know how much of it is factual. And how much of it is artistic license, if you will. But honestly, if a man can't take artistic license of his own life, then what is the real point? It just means that the accounts are questionable. And my table's got a lilt to it, so the toy is kind of standing at a weird angle. Which makes things not look quite like they're supposed to. We'll get the composition done here. I'm not trying to put in all the details right now. I'm just trying to get a composition going so that I know the whole thing's going to fit where I want it to fit. Just kind of a block in. Had a whole bunch of new followers join yesterday. Don't know if they'll be joining us today or not on the live stream. But if you're new here, give us a shout out. Let us know you're here. Thank you for joining us. And I can say us because my mom and dad are in the chat. It's not the royal us. Whee! It's not the royal us. It's an actual us. Alright, I need to get that first layer of ink down. We're going to the zoo today. My wife and kids and I are going to the Houston Zoo today. It's supposed to be super hot, so we're going to go head out real early. But it's the first Saturday of the month, and we're members of the Houston Zoo, and the Houston Zoo on the first Saturday of the month has a program where they have Meet the Keepers. I think they do Meet the Keepers every Saturday, but they have special programs for the members on first Saturdays. Plus, we can get in at 8 instead of waiting for it to open at 9. That makes it nice. One of the joys of working with fountain pen, this is an ultra fine fountain pen. One of the joys of working with fountain pen is that once you put a mark down on the paper, it's there. There's nothing you can do about it. You can't take it back. You can't. You can't. You can't undo it. But this pen is giving me fits right now. Give me just a second. We'll do a quick maintenance. It's like it has a piece of paper caught up in the tip. A little behind the scenes action. If you've ever wondered what kind of exciting things happen when you're not looking, it's this kind of excitement. This is the kind of excitement that happens all the time when you're not looking. I'm not sure that helped. But yeah, my son's already up taking a shower. Now, is he just up taking a shower, or is he still up from last night? I have no idea, because I was crashed out at about 9:30. But I do appreciate that the fountain pen forces you to just kind of accept what you get. Kind of removes that expectation of perfection. And kind of like, it's probably the same reason I like watercolor. It's just going to do what it does. And there's not really much you can do about it. It's just going to do what it does. Anyway, so let's talk a little bit about John Smith. John Smith ran away from home at 13. He wanted to be a sailor. His dad caught him and brought him back. Put him back in finishing school, where he was studying Latin and mathematics and geography, until his dad died when he was 16, and he took off on his own again. Joined a sailing crew. Again, keep in mind, John Smith told these stories. Joined the sailing crew, By the time he was 18, he owned his own vessel, which he used as a trading vessel and a mercenary pirate. Back in the day there, pirating was a honorable trade. And you would a lot of times be hired by governments to pirate other vessels, other government vessels, other country vessels. So piracy was considered a legitimate profession. So he was proud of being a pirate. He got captured by the Turks and enslaved and sent to Russia, where he was beaten and abused until, where he was beaten and abused until he managed to escape. Made his way back to London, where he joined the Virginia Company to go and colonize the new colonies in the New World. He was excited about that. Along the way, he got crosswise with the leadership. They put him in chains, but they discovered that he was one of the patrons of the vessel, so they couldn't leave him that way. They have that little eraser in the shape of a share button. That's crazy how that happens. Maybe share this with people you know. Anyway. So they get to Jamestown, and there's some mismanagement. 100 and something people showed up. By the time winter rolls around, there's only like 40 people left. Our buddy John Smith here, the real John Smith, not Doctor Who walking around with a piece of paper claiming to be John Smith, a psychic paper claiming to be John Smith. Our boy John Smith here goes out and maps the coastline. Gets crossways with the natives. Gets his crew killed. And then Pocahontas, who was 10 years old at the time and not a love interest. They were never married. They were not. John Smith and Pocahontas were never lovers, supposedly. She was 10. Pocahontas threw herself over his head to prevent the executioner from bringing a club down onto his head, and saved his life. Which the chief said that made him part of the tribe, the Powhatan tribe. Chief Powhatan said that made him part of the tribe, and therefore granted him passage to come and go. He gets back to Jamestown to discover everybody starving to death from socialism. I know all of you people that are under the age of 40 watching this are going to balk at this idea, but socialism nearly killed them because they decided that everybody would just share everything and nobody would go hungry, and so nobody worked. And because nobody worked, where am I? Because nobody worked, nobody produced anything. And so John Smith famously says, if you don't work, you don't eat. He was elected president of the Jamestown community. He says, if you don't work, you don't eat. There were a group of colonists that didn't like that. But he saved their lives. That simple philosophy of you must help produce, or you don't participate in the rewards, the henny penny attitude, if you will. That is way too intense. There we go. Bring that down just a little bit. That was the end of communism. Supposedly that was the end of communism in the continental, in the colonies, until the 50s. But we'll save our stories of communism for another day. John Smith went back to England, come back with another company. It wasn't Virginia Company this time though. He came back with another trading company. Mapped out the Chesapeake Bay area very accurately too. Fell ill, went back to England, spent the rest of his days extolling the virtues of going to the colonies. But he died in England. He did take Pocahontas to England a few times. I think she died in England. Married to a Viscount, I'm not sure. Her model will come up before too long, and we can talk more about her life then. But they were not married. They did not have sexual relations with that Pocahontas. And it's very likely that she was given the heroine story. According to historians, it's very likely that she was given the heroine story to make her popular with the royal family, popular with the royals. That John Smith told that story to make the royals want to meet her. That's what the historians think. They don't know how much accuracy there is to the fact that the 10-year-old threw herself in front of the executioner. All right, I need that to dry, and then we'll come back and we'll ink it with some bolted lines. How are we doing on time? Oh, good Lord, it's already 5:52. So I tell you what, let's run this hair dryer for a minute. Oh, look, it's coffee. But because it was in the 1600s, about the only thing we have to go off of is his diary and memoirs, and the diaries and memoirs of the others. And most people were illiterate. And the colonists mostly died. So about the only record that survives of John Smith. I mean, there's some other records that survive, like there's the official political records of Jamestown. But mostly what we have to go off of are his accounts. And as they say, winners write the history books. Can't talk, Harding. Made some new friends yesterday. I'd met him before. Made some new friends yesterday from the UK. And I'd like to meet up with them and ask them, their take on this kind of stuff. Because while it's important to U.S. history, it's a footnote in UK history. A lot of the stuff we talk about, spend a lot of our energy making sure our young people are aware of. In the States, the rest of the world's like, meh, it's a thing that happens. So I'd like to get their perspective on it. What is today? Today is the 7th of June. You know, when I put this one up on the stage, I was kind of happy that it wasn't a Tuesday, because I thought, man, that's going to be complicated. That's going to take a long time. And here we are, finishing 5 minutes early. Stick around for a minute though, and I'll show you what we pulled for tomorrow. But I looked at this. I think all of the figure drawing that I've been doing kind of helps with the Ivy's like, can we dance? Yeah, you did. You came in right at the end, didn't you, Ivy? So I think the figure drawing that I've been doing kind of helps get stuff into perspective quickly. And I'm going to show you from my perspective. I'm looking more down on him. When I took the picture from this way. When I'm drawing on him, when I'm drawing the picture, I'm looking more down on him. And I'm going to show you that real quick. So this is closer to my perspective. But anyway, that's what we had for today. 5 minutes helps. That's what we did for today. Let's take a look at, I actually have the kids pick one of these out. It's just right there, and all I have to do is reach over there and grab one, but they get so excited about doing it. So let's see what they picked for me for tomorrow. Tomorrow it is a mastodon. Tomorrow it'll be a mastodon skull. So today, especially while I'm at the zoo, we're going to spend some time over at the elephants, and I'll be learning about mastodons, and we'll talk about those tomorrow. So be sure and tune in tomorrow. Same Artistic Biker time, same Artistic Biker channel. And then we dance. We dance until somebody says they see me dancing, because when they say they see me dancing, that means that the lag has caught up with the stream and we don't